Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at a crew and thought, they're good firefighters, but something's missing? They're doing the job, they're following orders, but the edge is gone. There's less initiative, there's more hesitation, more just enough instead of their best. No discipline issues, no major conflict, just a slow fade. If that sounds familiar, this message is for you because most leadership mistakes don't announce themselves. They happen quietly and they destroy crews from the inside out. We've all seen this. We've all worked for officers who weren't bad people. They weren't lazy. They weren't incompetent. But over time, their crews stopped moving forward. And the scary part, from the outside, everything looked fine. The calls still got handled. That's because this leadership mistake, it doesn't look like a mistake at all. I've done this myself. Early on as an officer, I assumed my intent was obvious. I figured they know what right looks like. And when things didn't go the way I expected, I'd get frustrated. I'd think, why didn't they take initiative? Why do I always have to explain everything? And this is what I didn't realize. I wasn't failing them with bad decisions. What I was actually doing is I was failing them with my silence. I wasn't clearly communicating my expectations or the intent I had, and I was unintentionally putting my crew in a position where they had to guess. So here's the mistake that quietly destroys fire crews. Leaders assume instead of communicating. When intent isn't clear, firefighters, they're going to default to what they usually do. But if they understand your intent, they can adapt. A firefighter who doesn't, they're going to slow down. They're just going to do something to look busy. In the firehouse, this mistake, it shows up, it's going to be frustration and disengagement. Firefighters want to meet expectations, but vague direction, it's going to leave them guessing what good actually looks like. The officer, you may believe you're empowering your people, but the crew, they're going to feel abandoned. So then comes that corrective conversation. The officer's going to say, you should have known better. And then the firefighter thinks, that was never said. What they wanted, what their intent was. Now accountability, it's going to start to feel unfair. Not because the standard is wrong, but because it never was clearly communicated. That's where trust starts to crack. Strong officers understand this. They explain the objective. They state the priority. They define what success looks like. They do it before the call, during training, after the call, in casual conversations around the kitchen table. They say the same thing in different ways, not because their people are slow, but because clarity and repetition build confidence and true understanding. And that's what builds ownership, right? That's what we want. When firefighters understand the intent, they don't need constant direction. They can think and they can adapt. So here's the question for you. What are you assuming your crew understands? When you haven't clearly said it out loud, what expectations are living only in your head? Because the quiet destruction of a crew doesn't usually come from bad intentions. It comes from silence, it comes from assumptions, it comes from misconversations. Your people don't need more freedom without guidance. They need clarity. And when you give them that, when you clearly communicate purpose, expectations, and standards, you're not going to lose authority. You're going to build trust with them. And in this job, trust is what allows crews to think, adapt, and perform when it matters most. Clarity isn't optional. It's a leadership responsibility. And your crew, they're going to rise or fall based on how well you uphold it. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and share this with someone. Thanks for stopping by.